2018 Transition Sentinel 1 year, 2,000 mile review. Now, this bike is 14 months old and has about 2,200 miles on it. And this is the review of it up till then. This is the aluminum base version of this bike. So it's the aluminum base build. Came with the NX derailleur, the level 10 brakes, the RockShox Yari, the RockShox Deluxe back shock, race face cranks, and the whole NX drivetrain package, including the chain. The only thing that's ever been changed on this bike is the chain. Wasn't stretched, but around 1,000 miles, I put an 1170 chain on it. It was about 50 bucks. The only other thing that ever happened is at about, 1,500 miles, the crank started to come loose. And pulled that apart, put some Loctite on there, and the crank is once again extremely solid, extremely in good shape. No problem. Okay, the seat, and the seat's a WTB. The dropper is a race face. It is the air race face, not hydraulic. It's line actuated and still works like a charm. How about that? Did have to put air in it. They ship it with about 80 to 110 pounds. I've got two of these bikes. One is mine, one is my son's. This is the extra large, the other one's the large. I'll review that one next. Mine gets a lot more cross country, over desert, still rough terrain, but I don't do all the tricks and jumps and all the other stuff that he does. So mine has a lot more miles, but in some sense they're easier miles. Still pretty hard pedaling miles though. Okay, the rear sprocket, cassette, whatever you want to call it, still in great shape. Part of the reason why I changed the chain. That's in good shape. The NX derailleur, believe it or not, that thing has been awesome. No gear changing difficulties whatsoever. Even through the chain replacement, I have had to do virtually no adjusting on the NX shifter. So from a drivetrain perspective and shifting perspective, the bike has been awesome. Single drive, I believe it's a 32 tooth. I have to check. There might even be a 28. Anyway, I'll verify that. It's a race face crank and wheel up front. RockShox Deluxe shock. It's been working great. Never loses air. I play with it occasionally. It's got a lockout there. Pretty basic, but it works. It's nice and soft. All the pivot points are still in great shape and tight. Got one there, there, down there, and in the back, plus the axle there. Through axle in the back, through axle in the front. 200 millimeter rotor, front brake, which is pretty awesome, and the pads are still good. SRAM level 10, just fine for an entry-level brake. It's an entry-level good brake, right? So it's had no troubles at all. Grips, there's nothing. It stops on a dime, front and rear brake. All the cables are in nice shape. RockShox Yari, fork up front, 35 millimeter tubes, no problem. Smooth as glass. Does have the adjuster. Usually leave it wide open. And that works out just terrifically. The frame, 64-degree head angle. So it goes down hills for someone who's into it fast. For me, it's just safer. And I also climb really good on this bike, which was the concern, but I climbed great on this bike. So that's a perspective from braking, shifting, drivetrain. All of that has been flawless. Like I said, I changed the chain, tightened the crank one time, and the tires, these are tubeless ready when you get the bike. I changed the sealant, just did it for the second time. Once at about 6 months and then about 7 months later. These are amazing. They can go a couple of weeks. You don't have to add any air. Really nice, tubeless ready. The rims are WTB STP I-29s, tubeless, as you can see there. Got that nice through axle, RockShox, Yari. And the tires are, you know, for 2,000 miles, there's your tread. Not bad on the front. Not too bad at all. And then in the back, of course, they wear a little tougher, but they're still really good shape for local trail riding. This one at some point I'll change. Maybe around 3,000 miles we'll change that one. On the back tires, same thing. They are 2.9, they're 29s by 230s. 29s by 230s. And they are the Minion DHR in the back for downhill rear and downhill front. You have a DHF up front. That's your tires. Again, tires have been awesome. Knock on wood, no flats, none of that. So there you have it. The bike gets ridden daily. Already rode it today. Cleaned it up a little bit for this video, but bike gets ridden daily. It's ridden pretty hard. Temperatures here, I live in Phoenix, very hot. You know, we have cool summers, but it gets a lot of hot riding, a lot of dust, and it also has had some trips, right? Sedona, Moab, Flagstaff several times, Sedona several times, Moab, Utah, Hurricane, Utah. So the bike's been around, including all the local mountains and trails here behind the house. So there you have it, 2018 Transition Sentinel, extra large frame, 14 months, actually, you know, 1 year plus review, about 2,200 miles. Everything is original. Fast and flowy.